Hi again, Chris here with another quick and dirty soldering tutorial. This one really should be quick and dirty because it's probably the easiest one I've done yet. It's the Coarse Fine Attenuator, again from MH Eurorack. This one is literally just an attenuator with a coarse and fine knob, as the name would suggest. So any signal we put in, we can turn down the level and it'll come out the output. It's just a passive kit. Should be nice and easy. So that is the faceplate and the main board. Here is the components. And like I say, there's only passive components in here, so it really shouldn't take me very long at all. This is going to be really useful, particularly for manipulating and fine-tuning CV as it goes from an envelope or an LFO to pitch, for example. So I've got the instructions open for this and it's literally just a single page. That's going to be dead easy. So the first thing we need to do is put the resistor in. So we need to solder this into position, and then basically everything else is done loose. We put the faceplate on, solder it on, done. RV1's 100k, RV2 is 10k. So that's written on there. So that's number 2. There we go. And then the 2 jack sockets. We're in, so let's just back up a little bit. Get the base on. Put the washers on. So I'd normally talk a bit about what's going on, but I mean, I did that 2 days ago. Was it a day ago? It's not been long enough for anything to have changed. So I'm going to do the jack sockets first, once again, just to make sure the board is actually sitting down properly, because the friction of the large pins on the potentiometers keep the board in place somewhat, but these don't. So I should be doing another kit in a few weeks, and that was a delaying unit by Axis Modular. So stay tuned if you want to see how to put that together. So that's the soldering done, so I'll just clean those legs off. Do what I normally do with the potentiometers, which is just to bring them all down. Actually, I haven't done the knots up completely yet, have we? So let's do that. And we don't need to go crazy. Right, so these are turned down, line the line up. Check it's okay. Very simple. Done. Coarse and fine. So I'm going to give it a bit of a clean and get it set up. So the way an attenuator works is it will turn down the level of any signal we run into it. So this works with CV and with audio. So as an example, this is going to our audio output, to our mixer. We can take a raw output from an oscillator and run it through it and use the coarse and fine control to adjust the volume level that's reaching our audio interface. You'll often find though that oscillators don't have attenuators on their inputs. On the DS2 here we've got pitch inputs that are just raw. So if we were to run that to the output and then an LFO into it, say from the neutron, that's just going to be full range. So what we can do is we can take the LFO output, run it through the attenuator, and then run that into the pitch. And this is where the fine control really comes in helpful. If we're using a square wave, for example, and we want those 2 pitches it's hitting to be in tune, we can adjust it using the fine knob until we get what we want. This goes for envelopes too, so I'm using the LFO to trigger this envelope over and over. So if we run the output of that envelope through the attenuator, we'll be able to adjust how much it affects the pitch. As you can hear, that's cycling, so we can use the coarse knob to get it rough where we want it, and the fine knob to fine tune it. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. The attenuator is really easy to build, so it's a good one as your first kit, maybe if you're just getting into building kits for Eurorack. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you again. Cheers.